July 13. Dearest Suzie, we finally got some mail this morning. I got 6 letters from you, one from Mom and one from Laverne. You can imagine I was about to go out of my mind worrying about you. I'm still worried about you. I hope by now your cyst is gone. That is a terrible thing to have to put up with. I just wished I was home to look out for you. This turned out to be a hell of a vacation for you, but no matter, we will try for a real vacation when I get home. Maybe by then the boys will all be well and you'll be well too. We are still going strong up here. We put in a lot of hours every day, and I am sure it is going to be that way the rest of the time we are up here. I still don't have any orders. The rumor is that everybody who doesn't have them by now had orders for the 11th. Then they did away with the 11th, so our orders had to be changed. That is why it takes so long. I wouldn't mind going back to Benning, but I hate the thought of all that field training. Anyway, I should get some news soon. If nothing happens, I should be walking in the door sometime on the 27th of September. Up until now, everybody has been going home up to 2 weeks early, but they put a stop to that. Now you cannot leave until 24 hours before 1 year is up, so there is no chance of getting out early. Anyway, that isn't long off. If you can get along on your $400 a month till I come home, I would like to keep those extra checks. I have a surprise in store for you. If you need them, just tell me and I'll send them to you, but I figured with the car paid for, you were probably doing okay. When you do get home, don't bother to send me any slides. I will be too short by then. You could have sent me more pictures, though. Well, I have to go back to work, so I will close for now. I love you very much and miss you. Kiss the boys for me. All my love. Bill. In today's letter, Poppy is counting down the days. He's short, less than 80 days left in country, and he's imagining what it'll be like to walk through the front door of his home again. He writes that if all goes to plan, he'll be home by September 27th. But even as he says it, there's a touch of skepticism. Nothing is sure up here, he says. That uncertainty wasn't just about the war, it was baked into the very process of going home. For soldiers in Vietnam, going home wasn't as simple as stepping onto a plane. It began with a number, DEROS, the date eligible for return from overseas. That 1-year clock started ticking the moment a soldier arrived in country, and once it dropped into double digits, a person's very identity shifted. You weren't just a soldier, you were short. Guys marked their status on helmets, walls, and even calendars scrawled onto cardboard. Being short came with a particular kind of hope and fear. You were almost done, but not quite safe. Unlike earlier wars where whole units rotated together, Vietnam used an individual rotation system. Units stayed in place while soldiers came and went one by one. That meant Bill wasn't going home with his whole company. He'd likely be replaced by someone just arriving, and maybe, if there was time, he'd help show that replacement the ropes. This kind of informal handoff was common. Short-timers passing down knowledge, terrain familiarity, local customs, and of course, survival tips. These last few weeks were often the most dangerous. Not necessarily because of enemy fire, but because short-timers were so focused on making it out alive, they could slip up, take risks, or let their guard down. Then came the waiting game. Orders could be delayed or changed at the last minute. Poppy mentions a rumor that his were tied up because of the disbandment of the 11th, and he's probably right. Red tape was constant, and rumors often spread faster than official word. Once a soldier got his departure orders, he'd begin the journey home. He might fly out of a major base like Cam Ranh Bay, Da Nang, or Long Binh, usually on a C-130 or C-141 transport plane. His first stop was often somewhere like Okinawa, Guam, or the Philippines. These were the in-between places. Transit hubs where soldiers ate standard rations, dozed in temporary barracks, and waited for the next flight out. For many, it was their first time sleeping without gunfire or helicopters in the background. But the quiet could feel surreal, like a dream not yet real. Before leaving Asia entirely, soldiers went through final medical checks, blood work, immunizations, x-rays. Anyone seriously wounded or sick was moved through the aeromedical evacuation system, heading for hospitals in the States. Everyone else waited for the flight back to the U.S., the one that would finally take them home. When their plane landed on American soil, usually at a place like Travis Air Force Base or McChord in Washington, the moment was electric. Some were met by family, others moved quietly through the system, assigned to out-processing bases like Fort Benning, Fort Lewis, or Fort Bragg. There they turned in equipment, filed paperwork, sometimes received new orders, and, for those leaving the military altogether, began the process of separation. The Army had services in place, briefings on benefits, GI Bill access, job counseling, but for many soldiers, those few days weren't enough. They'd been at war. They were used to heat, adrenaline, fear, and routine. Now they were being dropped back into grocery stores, traffic lights, and silence. For the lucky ones, there was a warm welcome. But many came home to indifference, or worse, hostility. And almost all returned with memories they couldn't yet process, because at the time, there wasn't a word like PTSD in circulation. There was just the war, and everything after. The photo I chose for today shows little girls buying produce on a street from an old woman. This is a sight that may have been familiar for Poppy, perhaps reminding him of home, further intertwining his civilian life with his life overseas. I'm Alex Lowy, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode of Dearest Suzie, and receiving messages from the past that my Poppy wrote exactly 60 years ago. I sincerely appreciate your time and interest. Please consider following the podcast on your preferred platform, and if you're enjoying it, I kindly ask that you take the time to rate the show and leave a review. Also, please follow the project on YouTube, X, and Instagram. All likes, comments, shares, and reviews will help grow the reach of this story. The links for these things should be in the description of this episode. Please feel free to email me at dearestsuziepodcast@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to say. I'd love to chat or to hear about your stories as well. Thank you for listening, and God bless.